Hi, Joni here. In today's video we will talk about Elon Musk's interference in politics and why it's unacceptable, especially for us Europeans. Elon Musk has become exactly what he warned us about when he was talking about George Soros. He's the world's richest and potentially most powerful man. He's also an extremely polarizing figure, and he has decided to use all that wealth and power to advance his own interests, which is not surprising, but he's doing it in a very specific way. He has decided that getting the far right elected everywhere is the best way to advance these interests. He clearly loves to use his wealth and power to advance fascism around the world and to normalize it. For that, he bought Twitter and turned it into X. He also donated hundreds of millions of dollars to Donald Trump's campaign. He basically bought the US election, and he's basically in power now, which is crazy because he has huge conflicts of interest. He has not divested from his companies, and some of them are huge government contractors. This would never be accepted in a developed European country. The US is basically acting like a banana republic by letting Elon Musk do what he's doing. He hasn't even passed any background checks, and he has huge conflicts of interest. It's absolutely insane that Americans let this happen. And what's even crazier is that they don't even seem to care. But again, I can criticize what he does in the US, and I can comment on US politics, but at the end of the day, it's not really my business. The US is an ally of my country, and I can be worried about what's going on there. And Americans don't mind interfering in European politics neither. But at the end of the day, I'm European. If Americans want to let Elon Musk ruin the country for his own interests, I can't do much about it. However, when he tries to interfere in European politics, it becomes my business. And he's currently doing it a lot. Europe does not want his interference. He's currently pushing for a mega movement in Europe, which, as you have guessed, means make Europe great again. With this mega movement, Musk is trying to turn Europe into a fascist, weak and divided continent. To reach that, he needs the far right to do well in elections. And he's doing everything he can to make that happen, and we have absolutely no reason to accept it. Musk's popularity actually keeps decreasing, but he has an extremely loyal fan base. And it's a weird group of people. It includes fascists, conspiracy theorists, tech and crypto enthusiasts, and naive free speech absolutists who don't see that he's scamming them. They truly think that he's a genius, and that excuses everything he does in their eyes. They love seeing him push the limits of what's acceptable, and they like how anti-woke he is. Most of those people have horrible lives and see a sort of strong figure in him, while others think that he's sharing interests with them. It's a bit like Russians with Putin, or like MAGA people with Donald Trump. A lot of people like to have someone powerful that they can follow. It's quite pathetic, but there are a lot of people like that. If you have any other groups of Elon fanboys that come to your mind, please share them in the comments. But to get back on the subject, Musk has absolutely zero legitimacy to interfere in European politics. He's not European, and he's not acting in Europe's interests in any way. I actually don't even think that he's acting in the interest of the US, but he acts even less in the interest of Europe. As the world's richest man, he will always put his business interests before other people's interests. And he will also put them before American or European interests. Musk wants a world where the US and China can divide the world into spheres of influence. He wants to avoid any confrontation between the US, China and Russia. And that's mostly because he needs China and Russia for his businesses and to reach his ambitions. A divided Europe with several governments being run by the far right would be perfect for Elon. That would make it impossible for Europe to have its own foreign policy or to regulate Musk's companies. It would also make it much easier for him to influence and control people in Europe. And that explains why he's suddenly so involved in European politics. He's really trying to push the AfD in German elections. The AfD is an anti-EU, pro-Russia and pro-China far-right party. The AfD is actually so far on the right that even Marine Le Pen's Rassemblement National doesn't want to have anything to do with it. But Elon Musk loves that party, and he's really trying to help them in the German elections. He's also spreading a lot of disinformation about Europe in general. He's very active on the UK. He supports Tommy Robinson and spreads conspiracy theories about him. He also supports Reform UK. There's no doubt that he will also interfere in other countries. And we have absolutely no reason to accept this. We need to act before it's too late. What can we do? There are a few things we can do to at least decrease his influence on Europe. First of all, we need to call him out every time he lies about Europe. But that's not enough. We also need to improve our regulation of social media in the EU. With X, Musk has a huge influence on our elections, and he chooses to have a bias that promotes the far right. We could ask for more transparency. We could have algorithmic accountability, and more transparency on funding. We could also think about solutions such as ID verification. And there are many others. None of these solutions are perfect, but they could help in limiting his influence. Many countries have laws banning foreign funding for candidates in their elections. If some don't, they should really do something about it. We need to find solutions. If you have any other ideas on how to limit his influence in Europe, write these ideas in the comments. To sum it up, we shouldn't accept Elon Musk's interference in politics. But I can't influence the US, so I can only talk for Europe. Mega is just a way for Musk to increase his influence in Europe, to weaken Europe, which will allow him to reach his dreams faster. He needs a weak and divided Europe, so he keeps pushing pro-China, pro-Russia and anti-EU parties. And we should not allow him to do that. Well, that was it for today's video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.